So coming into the northern part of the San Fernando Valley here. So Sylmar up towards the 210 freeway, in towards the Newhall Pass. That's kind of the direction that we're headed at this point here. Northbound side of the 5, a stolen limo bus that we believe may have been stolen out of the San Diego area here. And again, it was picked up by West LA officers of the CHP here. And now we are northbound again on the 405 freeway. It did come through this Boulevard Pass out of West LA, out of Mar Vista, and now all the way up towards the Newhall Pass. So we're just about a mile away from the 210 freeway as we approach the Newhall Pass from the south here. So we're coming up 5 freeway northbound. We just passed Roxford, and we'll be coming up on the 210 freeway next. Beyond that, if he chooses to stay on the 5 freeway, and it certainly seems like it might be the case, he will be joining the Newhall Pass, and he has an option, of course, to stay on the 5 or go over towards the 14 freeway into the Santa Clarita Valley. So, again, something we will know in the course of the next couple of minutes here, but again, someone who is still resistant to pulling over at this time here. It's a big limo bus that you can see there, the CHP following closely behind, at least 2 units of the CHP that are tracking this thing as close as they can here. And again, he looks like he's passed up the opportunity to get on the 210 freeway, so it looks like we'll be heading in towards the Newhall Pass, 5 freeway northbound, just crossing the 210 freeway at this time here. So into the Newhall Pass we go, in towards the Santa Clarita Valley, in towards Newhall, and we'll see where this stolen party bus, the stolen limo bus, takes us in the next few minutes here. Guys, let me send it back down to you.
Yeah, and the information that we have is it started around 11:45 with this stolen party bus that got onto the freeway, the 405 north at Wilshire. We believe there is 1 occupant inside. We believe the bus is stolen, and CHP is in pursuit. The driver of the vehicle going in the 70s, upward of 70, 80 miles per hour. Now at this point, going on the 5 north, passing through the exit for Palmdale, for Lancaster. So headed north, showing no signs of yielding to CHP authorities. And it's not every day we see a party bus at all involved in any kind of a pursuit that we're covering.
Yeah, and as Mark Kono was saying, it's believed that this bus came from the San Diego area, and the owner of the party bus is actually pursuing it for some time. It's unclear if he's still somewhere behind this bus as this chase ensues, but it makes you wonder, you know, the circumstances surrounding the very beginning of this chase, and I'm sure we'll learn more details as we follow along with this morning.
Okay, it's getting onto the 14 north, headed towards Palmdale and Lancaster. So the party bus has gone a bit of a distance since we first started following this around 11:45. So now it's been about 30 minutes. The party bus getting on the 14 north, headed towards Santa Clarita, and beyond that would be Palmdale and Lancaster, and showing no signs of getting over. You see the CHP vehicle there with its lights on, and that party bus.
Kind of a calm pursuit. Let's throw it back up to Mark Kono and Sky 5 to hear the latest. Mark?
Well, there you go. Just made the crossover switch from the 5 freeway over to the 14. So here we go into the Newhall area as we kind of follow this stolen limo bus that is apparently stolen out of San Diego here. The reporting party was the owner, and not necessarily pursuing, but was following the bus for some time here before the CHP kind of took over here. We see another additional unit of the CHP on the ground, who is now catching up to the 2 additional units who were right behind the bus. So that's kind of what we're looking at right now. From what we understand, only the driver on board the bus, but that has not been confirmed. Of course, there might be additional people or additional suspects in this case. But we understand that the initial report that it was only a driver. So we'll kind of see how that plays out. Of course, when this thing does end, they're going to want to have a look at the inside of that bus to see whoever else might be in there. But again, northbound on the 14 freeway here, and we are now heading over towards the Sand Canyon area out of Newhall. Ultimately, if you kind of follow us through here, we'll be going through Acton over towards the Palmdale Lancaster area. No signs of slowing down at this point, no signs of giving up. We certainly hope that this guy chooses to do the right thing here and pull over and give himself or herself up peacefully. But to this point, still not happening, and we are just now coming up on, Sand Canyon in a couple of miles to Newhall Avenue into Santa Clarita as we follow this stolen limo bus up the 14 freeway here. Gals?
Yeah, and we started tracking this and seeing reports of this about a half hour ago, and so far it's been sort of what we're seeing now. The party bus going, 60, upwards of 70 miles per hour, 80 miles per hour, just sort of, coasting up the freeway, the 405 north up to the 5, and now on the 14 headed towards Santa Clarita, and further beyond that would be Palmdale and Lancaster. There have been 2 CHP units in pursuit, Marcona was saying, and the party bus has continued on, a party of 1 according to the initial reports that we have.
Lauren.
But we aren't sure if perhaps somebody else is in this vehicle, but we do believe it to be stolen, and it is
there it goes.
Continuing on the 14, getting slowed down a little bit by a van ahead of it. It has gotten over to the slow lane. At times we've seen it in the carpool lane and the faster lanes to the left, and who knows what the driver's planning at this point.
You got to wonder what that driver of that van in front of him is thinking as he sees this big bus behind him, and then vehicles in pursuit and helicopters hovering above. Mark Kono, who's above in Sky 5, I'm curious, considering your extensive coverage of so many chases in the Los Angeles area, what is the method or strategy that CHP uses when you have a car, in this case a party bus, that's kind of just flowing along on the freeway, not doing anything too dangerous or weaving in and out of traffic? What will be their plan of action, do you think?
Well, time is on the side of the officers, obviously, here, so they're not going to be in a big hurry to get this thing stopped. They're just going to kind of bide their time, and they don't know how much fuel is on board. This thing might, in fact, run out of fuel at some point, but they're talking about the possibility of a spike strip, so that could come into play depending on traffic conditions up ahead. So that is something that we have seen even at freeway speed, so a spike strip could come into play at some point in the future here. We just don't know, but again, that could be a strategy that the CHP kind of utilizes here. Obviously, they know it's coming up the 14 freeway here, and with traffic kind of thinning out up ahead, they might be able to strategically place a spike strip in front of the limo bus as it is coming by here. But, again, a thing with traffic conditions, he's in a little pocket of, slower moving vehicles here. He's trucking along probably at about 70, 80 miles an hour, doing the best he can to just kind of maintain a speed going up the 14 freeway, the Newhall Valley freeway here. So we saw him going from the slow lane. Now he's all the way off to the left lane. So driving somewhat erratically, not out of control, would I say, but at some point, he is just kind of weaving in and out, just doing what he can to avoid having to slow down and stop. But again, that being the case, perhaps up ahead they might be able to spike him, and that might slow this limo bus down. But again, that is something we will see. As we mentioned, time is going to be on the side of the CHP in this case. They have multiple resources on scene up ahead to be able to follow this guy as far as they need to. So ultimately, this guy is going to end up stopping one way or another. It's just a matter of when and how. So
absolutely.
We're just going to have to follow it.
Yeah, Mark, we're going to have you keep watching from overhead, but we actually are joined on the phone right now by CHP Officer Jose Barrios. And what can you tell us at this point about what's going on with this apparently stolen party bus?
Yes, just that we got the call about 11:30 that this party bus was stolen out of San Diego area, and we've been in pursuit ever since.
And what do we know? How do we know it's stolen? How did the call come in?
We got a call from confirmed with San Diego Police Department. That's where it was reported stolen, so that's what we confirmed. The only thing we don't know is how many people are actually inside the bus. As you can see, there's tinted windows, so it's really hard to get a head count of see who's in the actual party bus.
So we had reports that one person was inside, but is that perhaps just that at least one person is inside, but it's unknown exactly what the situation is in the bus?
Correct. We don't have that information.
And officer, we're curious, what is your plan of action? Because this guy's kind of just coasting along the freeway now, several different LA area freeways from the 405, now the 14. What will you guys do? Time is likely on your side. Will you deploy a spike strip? What's the next course of action?
Just that. We're just going to hopefully he pulls over or if he runs out of gas. But as far as deploying a spike strip, it's going to depend on the condition of the speed and traffic. We always want to make sure, the safety of other motorists are not endangered by this individual.
And every chase that ensues is obviously a unique situation. But in this case, He seemed to be coasting, but then we noticed him just now in the last few minutes changing his behavior a little bit, speeding up quite significantly and then slowing down and then kind of weaving a little bit more. What is the behavior that you've noticed, and is there any indication this person could be under the influence? Is it just too hard to tell at this point?
It's too hard to tell. It's like you said, there's a lot of unknown variables, so we can't really say if he's under the influence or not. His erratic driving is definitely not a safe thing to do, especially even though there's low traffic. It's a party bus. It's a big bus. It can be considered a dangerous weapon if it were to crash into something. So we definitely gonna make sure we follow him, and like I said, hopefully he runs out of gas and doesn't hurt anybody in the process.
How long could it take for a bus like that to run out of gas? How long could this thing go if it just is left to that point?
It varies. Like, we don't know how much gas it had when he stole it, so it could be a full tank of gas, could be half a tank, so it's kind of hard to tell. We're just going to monitor it and, keep our distance and make sure he comes to a stop eventually.
Officer, do you have any information on the owner of this party bus? Because we were told that for some time he was actually trying to follow his own van that was stolen.
No, we don't have any information about the actual owner. I know there was somebody behind following it, but that's not the case anymore.
Now, of course, we cover a lot of pursuits, and you're involved in them. When was the last time you recall a party bus? It's sort of an unusual vehicle, it would seem.
It is. Maybe a couple years ago, there was an actual bus that was stolen as well, or a motorhome. That was the most recent one with the high-profile vehicle like that. It was a motorhome. I don't know if you remember. Might have been about 2 years ago, and it was just driving recklessly throughout LA County.
And what would be something that would change the course to where you didn't just wait for the bus to run out of gas, where you might use some kind of a different tactic? And what might those other tactics at your disposal be, given the location of this bus on the freeway?
Unfortunately, with this type of vehicle, our options are very limited. It's a huge vehicle. We can't do the pit maneuver on it because it's such a large vehicle. We could definitely try, but it's probably going to damage our vehicles and might hurt our officers. So we're probably just going to let it run its course, and hopefully it doesn't hurt anybody.
And I'm sure each time that you're following a car, you're assessing, the level of danger to the local community. How dangerous is this one compared to what you've seen? Like, how are you breaking this one down?
Well, for right now, the bus, like I said, speeding, failing to pull over, and luckily there's not that much traffic. We're going to have to evaluate once it does hit kind of pocket of traffic, see what he's going to do. If he starts ramming vehicles or stuff like that, we might start, get closer, try to stop him, do an intervention, possibly get in front of the bus if it comes to that point.
All right, CHP Officer Jose Barrios, thank you so much for your time. We really appreciate all of your insight. And from what I understand, right now we have the owner.
We're going to have her in a few moments. Okay. We're going to have the owner of the party bus company. So very interesting to hear what she has to say. But in the meantime, let's sort of reset for people that are just joining in what we are following. This is a pursuit, a CHP pursuit involving a stolen party bus. Yes, it is a party bus. Unclear exactly how many people are on it. At least one, of course, the driver. Now, according to CHP officials, an officer we just spoke to, this started in San Diego. And then they caught up with them, and we've been following this for about the last half hour or so. We saw the party bus go on the 405 North, starting sort of the west side of LA, up on the 5, and getting onto the 14, now heading out towards Santa Clarita, now past to Agua Dulce, and would be headed in the direction of Palmdale and Lancaster. Now, this is not a situation where CHP is going to do anything immediately. They said they might just wait for the bus to run out of gas.
Right. Oh, sorry about that. This is Top Dog Limo Bus, which is a party bus company out of San Diego. And right now we have Susie Leitsky, who is the owner, I believe, of either the company or this van. Susie, are you here with us?
Yes, I am.
Thank you so much for joining. Sorry this is happening. It must be something to see your own vehicle on the news, not something you see every day. What can you tell us about what happened?
We went to go ahead and do a pickup, and my driver apparently, walked out of the bus to go ahead and pick up one of our clients, and the person jumped into the bus and stole it.
Oh my God!
A random person.
A random person jumped onto the bus at the pickup location? Is that what you're saying?
That's correct.
Wow. What was this pickup? Was it a residence or a business, and what area?
It's a residence here in Pacific Beach.
So
up in Marina. So here, it's in San Diego.
So then we heard CHP had mentioned that the owner or someone involved, perhaps it was the driver, was actually trying to follow the stolen vehicle for quite some time. Is that right? Can you tell us what happened in the moments after the party bus was stolen?
We had police over here in San Diego looking around. They had helicopters. They did searches, but then we didn't hear anything. About an hour and a half later, we get a call from a driver off the 405 explaining to us that he was complaining that our bus was there and the person driving it was driving crazy on the freeway and doing 90 miles an hour. And I explained to him that was a stolen bus, and he stayed on the phone until we called dispatch and got somebody out there.
Oh my God.
So actually a driver on the freeway called your company and said, hey, one of your buses is driving crazy?
Yes.
Oh my gosh, that's crazy. Well, at least you were able to locate it that way, and I'm sure that was quite a moment for both the person calling that certainly they did not expect.
Yes.
Right? And how is the driver doing? Yeah, how is the driver doing of the bus that was supposed to be, having a normal day at work, and then all of a sudden the bus gets stolen? How's the driver doing?
Oh, he was a little shocked, but we went ahead and got another bus out there, and he took his clients out, and right now we're doing a switch with another driver so he can come back here to the office.
That is
a
commitment.
What's going on right now? I'm going to have to tell him in a little bit.
That is commitment.
Oh my gosh, he continued with his day at work. Is there a description of the driver? Did your driver get a good look at the person that stole the vehicle?
No.
Okay. And so do you believe then that there's just one person in this vehicle given what happened? Did anybody see the driver steal this vehicle, and was it just one person?
Yeah, I'm not sure if it's one person or anything, honestly.
So what's your message to people? Maybe not to blame Top Dog Limo Bus for this.
Yeah. No, you know what? I really appreciate that. That if you do see something going wrong with the buses, that you do call the company straight, and make that complaint. And so that way we can do something about it. I appreciate the dispatchers, everybody, the police, everybody just helping us get this bus back and get it off the road so there's no danger to the other vehicles out there.
Absolutely. And Susie, do you have a sense of how much gas this bus had in its tank when it was there for the pickup? And then given that, how long it would be able to travel before running out?
I don't know. It's a full tank, though.
Full tank. So it left San Diego with a full tank of gas. So as long as that lasts is how long this pursuit could last, sounds like.
Yes.
What is your reaction to all of this?
I'm shocked.
And are you able to watch this pursuit overhead? I know you're in San Diego. I don't know if San Diego stations are following the pursuit.
We see it on TV right now.
You do?
On your channel.
On Channel 5.
I was going to say, we stream live, download our app.
Yeah.
You could see it all unfold. Susie, my car was stolen once, and there was a pursuit down the 10 to the 405. And so I can really empathize with how you're feeling right now. Hopefully this is recovered in good condition and you just have to do a deep clean and you're good to go. But I'm sure you have insurance and all of that. Any other thoughts or reaction that you'd like to share with us this afternoon?
Oh, no, I think that's it. Thank you guys very much.
All right. We really appreciate you taking the time in the midst of all this. And again, we hope that it comes to a peaceful ending with no damage to your party bus. Thank you so much. Again, that is Susie Lightsky with Top Dog limo bus, the owner of the company that owns this stolen party bus that is now on the 14 after a lengthy pursuit from San Diego. And we just heard a lot of insight from the owner about how this transpired, how her driver was picking up and just stepped out of the bus for a quick second, and before he knew it, one person jumped into the bus and took off with a full tank of gas. So this could go for quite some time. Unfortunately, the driver did not get a good look at the person who stole the car, but believes there's just one person inside.
Yeah, and so this pursuit, for those who are just joining us, the time is 12:30. This started a little earlier this morning, a couple hours ago now. According to the San Diego PD, it was around 10:15 this morning that this bus was reported stolen in San Diego on Moreno Boulevard when, as Christina said, a random person jumped in and took it, while the intended driver of the party bus got out to pick up some clients, keys in the ignition. So the person steals the bus, takes off, heads up the freeway, and then at some point, someone actually calls the party bus company complaining that one of their drivers is driving erratically on the freeway. So that was then another point at which this vehicle was discovered. We've been following the pursuit from the LA area where on the 405 North, the bus headed up the 405 and then got onto the 5 and now onto the 14, headed out. Now Acton is the area, and CHP has been in pursuit. We've been on this for at least 30 minutes, and Mark Kono's overhead. He's been watching it all. Now the bus is going a little faster than it has been. 80, well, now it's going down in the 70s, but we saw
74 to 90.
Yeah, we saw as high as 90.
Quite the range. So let's go up to Mark Kono in Sky 5. And also, Mark, I understand because of the range of our helicopter, we may lose the signal for some reason at some point soon. Mark, are you with us?
So we may not have Mark at... Oh.
Well, here we go. Well, hopefully the signal holds here, guys. So we've up at about 4,500 feet here, kind of following this party bus here through the Acton area now. So we just pulled into the Acton area, and now we'll be heading over towards Lake Los Angeles here. But we just passed Sierra Highway, one of the offs for Sierra Highway here, and he's just kind of moving along that 14 freeway here. This 14 freeway for now is somewhat lightly traveled here. Just stop you right there, Aldo. I do have you. Somewhat lightly traveled here, and he's just kind of making his way through, meandering across lanes of traffic here, moving from the slow lane to the fast lane. But, you know, as you can see here, there is plenty of opportunity, plenty of room for the CHP to maneuver into position should they choose to. But at this point, a pit maneuver is not going to be likely, but something on the order of a spike strip could be possible if it's safe enough to deploy. So that's kind of what we're watching for right now. Earlier on, they did attempt a spike strip about 5 miles ago. Unfortunately, he might have saw it, but was able to turn and swerve away from the spikes, and so that didn't work. But again, time is on the side of the CHP in this case, so they certainly have the time and the resources to stay ahead of this guy as he kind of trucks along and moves northbound on the 14 freeway. I'll try and get a locator for you here shortly. I think, hang on a second here. This is going to be Santiago Road. Mm-hmm. Santiago Road that he's just crossed over right now, and so in and out of the Acton area here, and we'll be heading in towards the Palmdale area here shortly. But again, several vehicles of the CHP are now kind of tracking this guy, and hopefully they can get up ahead with a spike and a spike strip and maybe immobilize the limo bus in some way, and at least get him slowed down or incapacitate the bus in some way so that he would be forced to slow down and stop. So to this point, it doesn't look like the driver's looking to give up in that this guy is coming out of the San Diego area, probably a situation where they came up the 5 freeway or the 405 and made their way to the 5 and now the 14 freeway here. With a full tank of gas, who knows how far this guy wants to take it, and if he even knows where he is going. Is he just kind of going north in a general direction, or does he have a destination in mind? It's just who knows at this point here. So right now the CHP, they're just kind of tucking in close behind, keeping tabs on him. There's a CHP helicopter that pulled up about 10 minutes ago, and now they're tracking as well. And, out of the Acton area, we'll be pulling into Palmdale here in the next couple of miles, and we'll see what he chooses to do here, guys.
Yeah, and you said time is on the side of those CHP officers, and you wonder if time is on the side of the party bus driver or how much longer that bus could go. We learned from the owner of the company that it is a full tank of gas, but she didn't know how long that could really last. She didn't have a sense of how many miles. By my rough calculation on the Google Maps, could be 165 miles that this bus has driven so far from the Morena Boulevard area that it was taken in San Diego, stolen, and now to the Acton area where it is now. So how much longer, we don't really know, but the CHP officer we spoke to on the phone recently did say that that was one of the likely options available to those CHP officers in pursuit, was just to, continue following this party bus until it runs out of gas, and that this pursuit could come to an end that way. The CHP officer we spoke to also saying that there are more limited options given the type of vehicle that they are pursuing, given that it is a bus, a party bus, that a pit maneuver, for example, would be difficult or not something that they would be likely to choose in this scenario, so that things may be more limited given the vehicle. It is slowing down a bit.
Yeah, quite significantly, just about 50 miles per hour at this point, following behind that truck. Slowly, you kind of wonder if at any point he's going to get off, but ahead of him, I mean, it's just all open roads. As we're looking at some of the traffic situation here on Google Maps, you will see him go through Lancaster perhaps if he keeps going, and then some of these small cities in the Antelope Valley, and it's just, you wonder what his plan of action is or if he even has any idea. But slowing down,
really slowing. He's getting off. He's getting off the freeway.
Oh, yep, there he goes.
He appears to be getting off the freeway.
And he's sticking behind that truck, which is interesting because he could get around if he wanted to evade the police. Mark Kono and Sky 5, what do you got for us?
Well, I think that truck is just kind of in his way, so he'll likely try and find a way around it at some point if he's looking to continue the pursuit here. But if he's looking to give up here, he's just exited the northbound side of the 14 freeway at Pear Blossom Highway here. So Pear Blossom Highway is where we've gotten off here. If he makes the left turn, if it looks like he's making that left turn, he's going to will be entering Pear Blossom Highway, and that could potentially take him across the desert. So we'll see what he does. Because of the truck that's in front of him, which is now pulling over, he is just going to continue here. So yeah, he was just kind of stuck behind that truck there, and now he is kind of continuing underneath the off-ramp there, and now he is continuing along Pear Blossom Highway. I don't know that he's going to make any erratic turns to get back on the freeway going the other way or anything, but certainly that could be a possibility. Rich, hang on right, widen out right there. What was that? Okay. I thought that perhaps that might be a CHP officer or someone staged there, but
sort of.
It looks like he is just now going to continue along Pear Blossom Highway. So this might open up a couple of opportunities for the CHP in that speeds along Pear Blossom Highway typically are a little bit slower here with fewer traffic, fewer cars here. But that being the case, there's also no median, no center median dividing the north and southbound or up ahead the east and westbound lanes of Pear Blossom Highway here. Right now, you can see the possibility for the driver to do something pretty dangerous here, as it is possible for this person to enter the wrong lanes of traffic. So we'll see what this person does here. He is being pursued by 3 units that I can tell of the CHP here. Okay, yeah, I've got him. 3 units of the CHP passing that intersection, and again, just kind of weaving in and out as traffic of avoidance requires him to. Right now, he's going to have to.
Oh gosh!
Wow!
Oh, no.
Okay,
wow.
Man.
Now it's getting.
He hit
even
that
more
car.
dangerous.
Oh my gosh! He rear-ended that car violently. That was a bad hit, guys.
Oh.
I was looking out the window as that happened. No word on what might this guy be thinking here, but the 3 units of the CHP are now out of their cars behind, and they're trying to get an eye on what this guy is doing here. Guns are out. They're looking north on Pear Blossom Highway. Traffic up ahead of them, but going the other way, is now stopped on the right-hand shoulder here, and in fact, a couple of them are turning around here. Rich, just stay right where you are. Traffic going the other way is now turning around on Pear Blossom Highway here. So just an exceedingly dangerous situation in that was a pretty dangerous move here. So he was coming up on 2 cars and at a pretty high rate of speed here. Those 2 cars were obviously moving slower, and he just kind of punched that car at the back there and did some heavy damage to it. Hopefully the people will be okay, but you could see that the car sustained some pretty heavy damage as it was rolling forward. So right now we're just kind of waiting to see what happens here.
And Mark,
hopefully this...
It looks like there's a citizen on the right side who just
someone's getting out of the car.
And someone's gone out of the car, hands up as well.
Surrendering
Yep,
to
it looks like we have someone coming out of the car or out of the limo bus, looking to give up peacefully, hands up, backing up towards CHP officers. And hopefully this ends peacefully here, but you know, of course our thoughts are going to be with the motorist who this person rear-ended just moments ago here. So once they are able to get to that person, hopefully they will be okay. But in the meantime, it looks like this person now giving up, hands up, and now being taken into custody by the CHP here. You know, at some point they are going to have to approach that limo bus here with the tinted windows there, and they're going to have to make an approach to that bus to make sure that there's no one else who they might consider a suspect on board the bus here. So if this is the only person, that's probably some pretty good news here. They have the suspect in custody. They're still going to have to go through the process of clearing the bus, and then they're going to have to get to that motorist who was hit, rear-ended by this bus, and hopefully tend to them. So again, this is Pear Blossom Highway. We're just about a mile, maybe a mile and a half off the 14 freeway where you saw him exit the freeway about 5 minutes ago. So now that person is in custody, and at some point they will make an approach to the bus here. Rich is telling me that this looks like a female here. My monitor is a little bit small, so I can't really tell.
It
but
does
it looks like a
appear to be a
female who might have been driving the vehicle. She is now in custody, but yeah. Okay, if we go to the bus, Rich, they're making the approach. Okay, there we go.
So here, officers
All
are
right,
making
so they have approached the back of the bus, back door open, and they are just now going to clear the bus. You can see the guns drawn there just in case there are additional suspects in there. Out of an abundance of caution, the CHP officers are not going to take any chances given the possibility that there might be further suspects on board here. So right now they're just kind of guns drawn, walking around the bus, looking through windows, and hopefully if this bus is clear, they can, in the next few minutes, get this thing off Pear Blossom Highway. Of course, tend to that injured motorist or tend to the motorist who was rear-ended there, but there you go. There's the signal, code 4, so all clear. That bus has been cleared, and now that is going to be a look at the traffic coming the other way. In other words, southbound or eastbound along Pear Blossom Highway going over towards the 14. A lot of people were actually making U-turns once they saw this activity that was coming towards them. So there you go. Have a look at that, guys.
Wow. Yeah, and we're re-watching when the party bus hit another vehicle and actually pushes it onto the wrong side of the road.
Yeah, and then you have, right now you have, I don't know if that's the driver of that car. It looks like maybe someone stopped to check in on the driver who was hit, but imagine how shaken up they must be. That was a major impact, and it looked like perhaps the airbag had been deployed in the party bus. I wonder if there's any sort of demobilization that comes into play when that car, since it's a corporate car, is involved in a big accident like this. But then on the right side of the road, you also had another car that was kind of stuck, that was pulled over. The guy got out and hid behind his car as police approached the party bus with guns drawn.
So it looks like CHP is now approaching the vehicle where another motorist was hit, and perhaps maybe that's a Good Samaritan that is checking on the vehicle, or the driver of the car. We're not exactly sure. You know, this is 2.5 hours after that party bus was reported stolen that we saw the suspect finally surrender. It was after a car crash. It hit another vehicle while driving on Pear Blossom Highway. And then a few minutes later, the driver of the party bus, the stolen party bus, the subject of the pursuit, did get out of the vehicle and surrender, follow officer orders. It appears to be a woman, a female suspect. We really don't know anything about the suspect other than what the driver of the limo company told us, which is that at around 10:15, this person is accused of stealing a party bus that had keys in the ignition, and the driver had gotten out to go pick up some clients. And just in that time, just a random person stole that party bus, taking it from San Diego all the way up to our region, which is when we caught up with it in Los Angeles on the 405, and then continued up onto the 14 freeway and then onto Pear Blossom Highway in the Antelope Valley areas. And then this came to a violent end when the party bus driver hit another vehicle, pushing it to the wrong side of the road, just collapsing the back of that vehicle, and we don't know how any occupants in that vehicle are doing. We did see CHP go over to offer assistance, and no ambulance there yet. So, we are awaiting word of if the person or people in that vehicle are okay.
What's interesting to consider is, so I had my car stolen before, and so I've been through the process a little bit. When you make the call to 911, you report it. Depending on the agency, they'll handle it a little bit differently. Mine ended up being in multiple jurisdictions, so LAPD got involved and they had a chopper and more resources. But this started in San Diego, so they probably called the local agency there. And unless there's a tracker on the bus, then you kind of just wait and see if anyone reports having spotted it, and you try to figure out where it went, because this is a massive region. And what it was, according to the owner of Top Dog Limo Bus, which owns this bus, they told us that a person who was driving on the freeway in the LA area called the company to complain about the erratic driving of the driver, and then was informed that the party bus was actually stolen. I mean, not something that you see on the freeways of Los Angeles every day.
Yeah, and San Diego PD was actually not involved in pursuit of the vehicle since it was located later. So it may have been that very call, Christina, that you mentioned that tipped off authorities and perhaps launched this pursuit that we've been following now for some time, at least the last 45 minutes, which came to a peaceful end in the sense that the suspect surrendered. But we don't know how the person in this vehicle that you're seeing is doing. This car was hit. That sort of precipitated the arrest of the suspect in this pursuit we've been following now that